Alrighty, so I checked out 3 dope comedy specials. And the first one up that I'm going to speak about is Dave Chappelle's Sticks and Stones. Dave Chappelle's, I would say much anticipated, but I didn't, even though I knew he had originally signed a like 3 special deal with Netflix when at the time of him like releasing his last 2 technically, like when that news came out of him making like 50 mil with Netflix to release 3 specials. Then he came out shortly after that with the 2 specials in one, like 2 specials drop at the same time, which I don't know if that counted as 1 and 2, and this one that just aired, Sticks and Stones, is the 3rd, or if that was just like a package. I haven't put out content in a while, so I want to get all of this out there. Here's one with like a little bonus extra. But I don't know. One of them was called Equanimity, and the other one was Bird's Eye View, or something like that. And those were hilarious, dope. And this one, Sticks and Stones, did not disappoint. Dave Chappelle is absolutely one of the GOATs. He is so masterful at what he does. The way he speaks, his mannerisms, they're all hilarious. I like the up and down cadence in his voice. He can like make you laugh at like different pitches. Like he'll get really high or he'll say something really deeply. And he knows how to use those tools absolutely effortlessly. I thought some bits were a little bit drawn out-ish, and there were definite like laugh out loud moments. Like I can't say I remember off the top of my head, but there definitely were a few. I've heard some critiques of it not being like his funniest special, which I can't say I agree or disagree, but if you do have that opinion, like I see why you would have that opinion. And me personally, I love stand-up comedy, but it's not just about the funny for me. I know for a lot of people it is, and it makes sense, right? It's comedy, you're supposed to laugh and stuff, but there's another layer to comedy that I really appreciate, and I really love it when a comic gives it to me, which is when the comic makes you think, when the comic shows you a different perspective on something that it's either something that you never even thought about looking at in that way, or something that you did feel like viscerally in that way, you just were never able to articulate. And I absolutely love stuff like that. I feel like it's like getting a little bit of medicine with your sugar, if you will. It's not just about the laughs, although that's a big part of it, but just as equal in terms of appreciation for me, part of stand-up comedy is that aspect of making you think and contemplate and look inward and figure out how even you feel about certain topics, like transgenders, like politics, or random current events. And I feel like Chappelle like delivers that in spades with his comedy, and it was just a lot more of that in this particular Sticks and Stones special. There was something outside of the actual special called the epilogue that you guys can check out on Netflix. That it's within, like, if you watch the special, you can play the epilogue next kind of thing. It's like one of those like bonus features, and it's like 20 to 20 something minutes long, and it's fucking hilarious in and of itself, and it's very vulnerable at the same time, which I liked. He pretty much just opened it up to the crowd in like a Q&A session and showed like the best clips in the epilogue from like the different shows that he did the Q&A at. And there was this one story in particular about a transvestite or transgender. Honestly ignorant to the distinction there, and I forget how he references her in the epilogue of the special, but her juxtaposed with this other lady that was also at one of his shows. So this lady that was at one of his shows supposedly, storms out, and she makes this big scene and fuss, and she's yelling at him that he can't say stuff like that. And before she walks out of the room, she says that she was raped. Dave Chappelle said, that obviously fucks up the mood in the whole room. And what he decided to tell her was, it's not your fault that you got raped, but it's not my fault either, bitch. Get the fuck out. He's just like hilariously unexpected shit like that. So he says that, and then he juxtaposes that story with the story of Daphne, the transgender person, and she supposedly went to like 4 out of the 6 shows that he taped that weekend, and or he had that weekend in preparation for the taping for the special, where he was working out that material. And he was saying how she was like laughing hysterically at everything and at every show. And something that resonated with me that he said that made me think of, how they say like laughter is the best medicine. He said that he noticed that she was like laughing like wholeheartedly, head back, smiling with all her teeth. And he said it seemed like she was like letting go of something heavy, like through that laughter, which I thought was dope. That like resonated with me. That was like a, healing power of comedy type shit. Anyway, he goes on to say that he like speaks to her at the end. He tells her, I was surprised that, you didn't get offended because I had a lot of transgender jokes and stuff like that. And she said, no, of course not. I thought it was hilarious. And she had read about Dave Chappelle in the New York Times, stating that the New York Times, wrote a piece about Dave Chappelle blaming him for normalizing R. Kelly because he was saying like so many jokes about R. Kelly. Supposedly, Daphne, the transgender, says, I wonder why they don't write stories about you normalizing transgenders since, you say jokes about them. Like, why isn't that topic looked at, with the same energy, with the same application of logic? And I thought that was an amazing point. And whether true or a true interaction or not, he, got that point across for sure. And like mitigated for himself the backlash that he knew he was going to get for having, all these LGBTQ related jokes in his set. But regardless, again, Dave Chappelle is definitely one of the GOATs. One of my absolute favorite comedians. Him and Bill Burr are like The Wire and Breaking Bad. One is the number 1 show of all time. One of them is a very close second, and I don't know which one's which. That's how I feel about Dave Chappelle and Bill Burr. But yeah, check it out. It's called Sticks and Stones on Netflix.